We expect to see incredible consolidation. In America in 1900, we had 600 communities that had 2 or more newspapers. Today we have 5. Instead of counting down the 2 newspaper towns, we're counting up the no newspaper towns. We think in America there are going to be 4 or 5 newspapers that will survive as global brands that some of you may read and Americans all over the world will read. The New York Times will be one of those. Arthur Sulzberger, the publisher, spoke yesterday. New York Times sells more copies now. Its greatest growth is outside of New York. The International Herald Tribune, they're now rebranding as the global edition of the New York Times. On my panel yesterday, Mark Thompson, the Director General of the BBC, that is going to be a global English brand. We think there will be at least 1 or 2 global French brands. There'll be a global in Brazil, Globo. But we think there's going to be incredible consolidations. Hundreds of media are going to consolidate down to a handful, and they're going to be global. They're going to be all over the world.
Which French brand?
That's a better question for you. But I mean, if I spend a little more time here, I could give you my opinion. But I don't. But I'll leave that one to you, and I wouldn't want to offend anybody. But I think there's room for at least 2 French global brands, and I mean in France. I don't mean like 24, which is in English. That's a separate phenomenon. And of course, French is still one of the top 3 global languages. Of course, you know, I suspect a lot more people speak French outside of France, I think, than inside of France. The most fanatical French speakers are the French Canadians. Although one example, jazz. In America, we have 600 jazz radio stations. That's because radio reaches a local market. And historically, you had to listen to whatever jazz station was in your community, whether it was good or not. Now, you'll listen to the best jazz station in the world, irrespective of where it is. My friends say the best jazz station in the world is in India. There aren't going to be 600 jazz radio stations in America. There will be 2 or 3. This also goes to academia. In America, we have 2,000 professors who teach Introduction to Psychology. Let's be charitable and say 20% teach it well, 20% teach it poorly, 60% teach it adequately. Why should anyone have to take Introduction to Psychology from anyone except the best professor who ever taught it, who may be dead by the time you take it? But we think now there will be 5 classes in psychology. And psychology is a global study, so it won't just be in America. People will now, I don't think students are going to do all their learning this way, but I think my vision is between high school and college, students will take 3 or 4 classes online. Classes that are the same in France as they are in America, Introduction to Chemistry or Biology, and they'll take them from the best professors who ever taught, the greatest minds, and then they'll come to college and take small specialized classes.